Okay, so tables in HTML. Now, in HTML, tables are used to style website um, to give layout to certain pages or certain part of the website. But what the advice that I have for you is don't use table to lay out your website because the search engine don't really understand it and they don't like it. So to lay out websites, there are other ways we can lay out website that will make it even more beautiful. So tables are not really advisable to use, but we're going to see what we can do with tables. And yeah, so another way to keep your website looking neat and orderly is through the use of table. This definitely this is definitely the most complicated part of this tutorial. So yeah, tables are more complicated. They are they are one of the most uh, complicated parts in HTML. However, learning it will certainly pay off in the long run. With this in mind, tables can still be a useful way to present content on your page. What does a table consist? Let's look at what a table consists. So, when drawing a table, we must open an element with the table opening tag. Inside this tag, we structure the table using the table rows. So, this is the tag for the table rows, table row TR, and cells. Cells is TD, which means table data. So, for example, we did UL and OL. We said that UL is unordered list, while OL is ordered list, right? We inside of our UL or OL, we now have what we call LIs. Those are the listed items. So same thing is almost applicable in tables. So we have a table, and inside of that table we have rows and data of the table. So for example, we can see a typical example that we have here. So we have the opening table here and the closing table. Remember that HTML tags, most of them are sort of containers. They contain other elements. So in this scenario, the table is a container that contains table rows and table data. In this example, we are having two rows. So row one, and row two. So we have two rows in this table. We can have more, but in this example, this is what we have. So this will produce a two-row table with three cells in each row. So you can see the cells are kind of the table data. So we have cell 1, cell 1, 2, and 3. Same thing for row 2. So let's see this example. Let's copy this code and see the example. So I'm not going to copy it, rather I'm going to type it out so that it's it's easy for us to understand and yeah, work with. So I'm opening our folder that we created, which is the front end tutorial bootcamp something. I'm going to create a new folder and I will call it tables. And inside of that folder, I'm going to create a new file. So I have to ensure that it's open, and then I'll create a new file inside and call it index.html. So remember our HTML structure, we have to start with this. We have to start with the doc type HTML. Then our HTML tag will be here. We have to also close our HTML. So let's also not forget that we should have the head tag as well. And then the closing head. Inside of the head, we should have our title. And let's say tables in HTML, and we close the title. Then over here we have our body. The closing body tag should be right here, and this is where we want to have our tables. So we now have a typical HTML structure. So let's have our tables. Let's look at what we have on this our example. So we have table tag, we have the table, and then there is a closing table as well. So what else do we have? We have the table rows. So for row 1, let's also close the T arrow, table rows. Then table data. So TD. Let me call it. So what do they have here? They have row 1, column column 1. So I'm going to just copy this and do it 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So this will be 2 and this will be 3. So I can as well copy this and do that, but let me do it manually. So I have another T arrow, which is another row. We've just had one row. This is the second row we are having. So this will now be, let me also close the T arrow, the table row. So inside of here, I have my table data, TD, row 2, column 2. So I'm going to do column 1 rather. I'm going to copy this and do it a few times. So changing this to column 2, column 3. Then let's save and run this. So when we go live, you can see what we now have here. We have row 1, blah blah blah. Let's make it look okay. This is what we have right here. What we can do is we can say, for example, let's say first name here. Let's say first name. So this is not a proper way to do this, but we just want to do it this way to understand a few things. And then let's say nationality. Now let's make it a little bit bold. So there is a tag called B arrow. Is it B arrow? I think. No, not B arrow. We have the B tag, I guess. Bold. So making it bold. So we close it. I hope this works. So that didn't work. That's not for bold. I think it's B. So you can see that even me, I'm forgetting a lot of the tags. But when it's time to use them, you just know how to Google them. Okay, I think it worked. So it's B. So I do the same for this because I want them, all of the first ones, to be bold. So it's sort of like the title of the table, the title of the row. So I'm doing this again over here, finally here, then this, then I save. So we can see that first name, last name, and nationality are in bold format. So what I can do here is to say Timothy. and then the last name, and then nationality, Nigerian. So you can see this is a table. We've created a table. I think there is one more thing we can do. So we've done an example. The whole of this information, this data we have here, this code that we have here, it's for this simple table. So let's see other things that we can do with table. So this will produce, we've seen that example. Tables can get quite complicated, so be sure to check out our special HTML tables. So you can go through this HTML tables tutorial to find out more. Now, table tags, however, watch out for these tags so that you can recognize them and use them as your skill develop. Here are the table tags presented in the table. Pun totally intended. Okay. So we have T head for table head. Let's see this one. Let's see the T head and make use of it. So there is T head, there is T body, there is T foot, there is call group, there is TH, table header. Okay. There's tables, borders, spacing are usually styled using CSS, but we'll cover this in a later tutorial. So you can style your table, add spaces. Like when you look at this table, they are clustering. So from Nigerian to the last name, the spacing between them is quite small. But with CSS, we can handle all of those things. So congratulations, we've got a perfect table running. But note that tables are not really in use nowadays. Nowadays, how we lay out websites, we use CSS to have proper layouts to our website. So we don't really use tables. I've not used tables in any website that I've built over the past years, and even the ones I'm building currently, I've not used tables in any of them. But so one thing about web development or programming is the algorithm that you decide to use at the end of the day. So the algorithm you want to use matters to you alone and to the people that will be working with you in the team. So for me, I've not written any algorithm as regards to web development that will have to do with tables. So let me increase this a little bit so you can see. So we have our line 1, the doc type as line 1. We have the HTML, then there is the closing HTML. There is the head, the closing head. We have our title right here. We have the body, the closing body. Then we have table that sort of wraps the entire table. So if you come back to this html.com, you're going to see, so we have other tags here that we didn't touch. We have table head, we have table body, table foot, call group, th. So you can go through all of these and try to work with them. Another thing you can do is to come to this HTML tables tutorial from this website, go through it, and you're going to understand more things. So using tables, so you can see. So that'll be all for now, and in the next class we're going to start talking about CSS and start working with CSS. So thank you for joining. God bless you.